Hey guys, you're here live with JT and Campbell and Coach Larry, and we are doing our normal Monday night call this Tuesday morning in beautiful Arizona. I don't know if you noticed the sun in our backdrop, but I just wanted to make this a real quick episode. We're going to do about 20 minutes today, and we're going to dive really into the heart of what it means to be a good teammate and give you some specific examples from actually the tournament we're in right now. So you want to get us started, Campbell?
Yeah, so I've just noticed over the last couple days with both the teams, the team we're here with in Arizona and then my boys back at home in Denver, that a lot of people just don't realize what it means to be a good teammate or what it takes to be a good teammate. And so I just wanted to touch on a couple of things I've seen. Um, and one of those things being, and I think we've talked about this before, but when you come into the dugout with a bad attitude, that just spreads like wildfire. And that's just something I've noticed a lot with um specifically two of the guys on the team we're with here. And then one person in particular on my team at home. And what what do you both recommend I do to kind of either bite that in the butt or
Run them.
help with that?
Make them run. It's all with communication. I'm with anything. You got communication. I mean, no one's bigger than the team. And you always hear that analogy. There's no I in team. There's no I in team. So even in business, even with anything, a good business has a good team around them. And you can always hear this with the coaching part of it. You're not just a great coach has great coaches around them making them better. And I take it back with CSU Pueblo with Coach Sanch. We ran the practice, me and the other coach, the assistant coach, from 2 o'clock till about 3:30, and then here comes Coach Sanch, and he comes in and says his two little cents, and then it's done. So he trusted us that we will do the right things for the team. And so if the team understands that no one's bigger than the team, and we're all going for that common goal to win the ball game, or win a ring, or win the ring, or get our business done. Whatever you do, it starts with communication. With anything, with communication, and just pull that person aside and say, hey, what's going on? What do you see going on? What do you want different, and how can I make this better for you or for the team? Because at the end of the day, it's about the team. It's about, and you look at Coach AT and I with our team. We built a team around him and I, and it's getting bigger, and the pieces that are falling into our team is strong in every aspect of what they do, what he does, what I do, what she does, whatever it may be. You get that team around you. So that's what we're talking about the other day with practice. You look at that one guy that's practicing, and he's a leader. You kind of lead him to the way. Now he will control that team, and they will follow him compared to following you, because you built that team around you and your thoughts and your goals, and that team will start coming together, and they'll be as one. And when you do that, so, and where you guys are right now in Arizona, you guys are going for the ring, World Series ring. So everybody has that notion, we got to win this ring. So that maybe it's not being mischievous, or they're doing it out of the realm, but they all want that common goal to win, and they don't realize it's really hurting the team more than it's helping the team when they're doing things. And if you can get that under wraps, then it's good.
Yeah, and I think since we're talking to the coaches community here, I think the question is really how do I, as a coach, create a culture that cultivates that type of environment, right? And it can't be done overnight, and it's tough if you're on a team where people are coming from different places and joining to play in one place. And the quickest, easiest way to do it is say we're here for a common goal, but don't just say we're here for a common goal. You have to actually inspire the people who are playing with you to believe that you can win, right? Because if you're down here in the tournament, you only get so many at bats, so many innings playing, and all of those things. And the coach, right? You're making the lineups for these teams just like you do in Denver. And the very first day, the coach, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks because I definitely wouldn't consider him a coach, and I wouldn't hire him. But the guy who organized the team, let's call him that, made the first lineup, and on paper it looked okay, right? Would you say?
Yeah.
And we squeaked out a win, 3-2. We didn't have much offense, and then Cambell comes to me and she goes, I can make this lineup better. We need to do that. And I said, well, just do it. And it comes down to some things you touched on in there. And by the way, we scored 6 runs and 10 runs in the next 2 games with Cambell's new lineups. But what the biggest thing is, leaders are leaders. It doesn't matter who it says the coach is or who it says the organizer is or whatever. Once Cambell and I were in the dugout after the first game, people don't go to this other guy, I don't want to say his name because he might be watching this, and ask him what to do. They ask Cambell and they ask me. And they ask Cambell why they're in this position in the lineup, and she'll be happy to tell them. And when they question her, since I'm in the dugout, I say, look, I don't know why, but she always gets it right. You got to trust that. And you're going to be up at the right times. And 3 or 4 times in 2 games yesterday, those players that were upset about the lineup came to Cambell and apologized and said, look, I'm never going to question you again because I was up at the right time. I got my RBIs. I got my hits. I got the pitches I was looking for. All of those things that the individual often doesn't consider. And that trust component starts to make for clearer communication, right? And Coach Larry talked about communication. And you can't just say, I'm the coach and automatically have trust. It just doesn't work like that. You have to build that with the team. And once you build that, it cleans up your communication. Once it cleans up your communication, then everybody can get on the same page with your goal, which in our case right now, we're in Arizona to win a World Series ring, coming home with some bling so I could be like my buddy Larry here. And it's all about that environment that you create, that culture. And everybody talks about that team culture. There's all these pop-up trainings on team culture. And it's because it's real. But those people who are teaching that have never led a team. They don't know what it's like in a dugout. You do, right? Larry does. And you have to be that culture. You can't just say, we need a better culture. You just be that culture. And when you be that culture, you start to, it's contagious. It's just like you said, the bad egg can be contagious. But what did I do in the dugout when that bad egg said something, right? We immediately cut it off. No, we're here to win. Here's our goal. Here's our things. This is where we think you fit. That's why you're not hitting right now, or that's why you're hitting here, right? Or that's why you're doing this. And the explanation doesn't mean anything to them when you give it to them, but when they see the result, and the result is we're 3-0 right now, people start to believe.
I mean, that's great points, Coach. And I believe everybody's seen this movie, and probably one of the best coaching minds that I've seen on watching this movie. Remember Titans? He brought in 2 schools that absolutely hate each other, different races, different heritage, different everything, and he has to bring this team together as one. And if you remember what they did for a whole week was they separated the talks and what's going on, and they went to a college campus and they practiced just as a team. They ran as a team, ate as a team, lived as a team. And I love that because that's what I do with my kids. We go on the road. We all stay together in the same room. I mean, different rooms, but it's 4 to a room. They don't stay with their parents, they stay with the team. We eat together as a team. We go to the ocean as a team. We do team building activities as a team. And that's the fastest way to get a team together when you live together. You have brothers and sisters. I mean, we all been there and we're very, very close. So you get that. And it's tough, like what you guys were saying, because, you just bring these guys in together and with you at DU, the same thing. But if you could do some team building activities to bring these guys now, because now it's your team, right? It's not, no one's getting cut. This is your team. And work on that in the fall and the winter and just go to the movies or have dinner or do a barbecue and get that team aspects together. I guarantee you will see that team start forming to be this. And that person, that I person is start going by himself, and you're going to start seeing that. So great examples, Coach. Good job. I like that.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, Coach Larry, because that's fantastic. It's really one of two things happens with that I person. One, he realizes he starts to get uncomfortable because he no longer fits into the team, and he might leave. And that always happens organically. If you have a real problem, there are very rare occasions that you have a real problem that can't be overcome, then you cut him. Then you release them, because it's, I'm trying to think how they say this, and they say it in the movies. It's the team over the individual, right?
Mhm.
It's like that mafia mentality.
Yeah,
The mafia protects the mafia, not the individual.
exactly.
And, maybe that's a bad example, but a lot of
Someone's getting whacked.
nobody's getting whacked. Just to be clear, you create this mentality where the overall goal and the team becomes priority.
Yep.
And once that culture changed to where the team is priority, wins come automatically and frequently.
Yeah.
And they're not always pretty. They're not always like you would like to see it on paper, but a win is a win. And it doesn't matter how ugly it is, it's a win. And when you have a team, you could have a team with mediocre talent that is playing as one, absolutely whip a team that has a bunch of talent and no team.
I've been there, Coach. I've been there 100% with in JUCO, and you had the one top 5 team in the nation we're playing against, but we played as a team. And when it got to the tournament time, it was all individuals because they're all getting drafted. They're all going here, going there. So their whole team aspect was gone. And now it's for themselves. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that instead of being that, put the bunt down, hit and run, do the little things that win ball games. And like your dad, like Coach said, when you win, all that noise that you hearing behind you goes away because now they trust you. What you're doing is right. And you're not out there to lose ball games. You're out there to win, especially what you're doing right now. You're out there to win, and you stick to your guns and say, you know what? I see what's going on. I trust myself as a coach and as a leader for your team to put the top 9 guys or 10 guys out in the field to win this ball game, and you're doing it. I mean, 3-2 is still a win, but 10-1 is a lot better than 3-2. I mean, in our eyes, you know what I'm saying? So I understand that, but you did a good job. 3-2 is a win. You don't know what you're seeing in as a pitcher or what things happen in the game, an error here, an error there, but it's still a victory. Good job. But the 10-1 or whatever it was, the last 2 games, you put runs on the board, you're getting opportunities to put the runs on the board. And today is the best day that you can possibly have besides opening day because this beginning of playoffs of the MLB. You're going to see teams now put the button down, hitting runs. You're going to see guys getting moved over because it's postseason, and it's the best time now. I mean, starting here at 10 o'clock, you have the first game. You have Detroit and Cleveland. I'm excited. I mean, you can't be excited for this right now because it's postseason, and the little thing's going to win ball games. And who win ball games? Coaches.
I'm just soaking this in right now, Coach. I love it when you get passionate about that stuff, man.
Exciting.
So true, so true. And I think if we want to round this out here, the moral of the story is And actually, I'm going to go a little sidebar because personally, this is going to help a lot of coaches when they see kids that are maybe going through tough times in high school or college, and they're really, everything else is the problem. So I don't get enough playing time. I'm not over here. I'm not doing that. I should be doing this. All of those, I'm not, and I shoulds, and all of those things. Well, where does that stem from? And where it stems from is their confidence and their perception of themselves. They think that their value is in what everybody else around them thinks or does. And it's hard for that person to be a teammate because they're in that depressed mentality where all they see is what's happening to them. They don't realize that they're creating that. And so it's a very internal conversation, and that creates that doesn't make that player or that coach a bad person. It simply makes them somebody who needs that team more than anybody else. Because when you start to engage, buy into, and see the whole vision, you sort of leave that internal conversation and you're now in a team conversation where you're starting to be as one, right? You're starting to play as one. And what you'll see in all the players on that team is you'll see more confidence, you'll see more consistency, they'll have better relationships, because that team adds so much value and gets them out of their head. They stop having that internal depressing conversation that is so negative on them and what's creating that separation in the dugout. They stop having that conversation. Now their conversation is, how can I help the second baseman? How can I pitch just a little better? How can I catch a little bit better? What if I did lay down this bunt? Would that be the right thing? And does that give me the best chance to win this game? And those are the conversations they now have. How can I cheer better from the bench? How can I be ready when my number's called? That's the conversation they're now having instead of that internal conversation. And it changes everything. And not only does it change everything on the field, which we talk about a lot, but that person is now going to be more successful at home, in their relationships, in their schooling, in their work, because of that team. So I don't want coaches, when they're looking at this episode, to think, well, if it's all about the team, what about me? If you're all about the team first, you will improve. You will get better. You will feel better. You will have this belonging. It's sort of built into us as humans, right? This belonging. And we're born into our family, so we belong to that family, and then we just sort of take that for granted. People don't realize how powerful a family is because they were born into it. They have it. They sometimes, a lot of times, feel like it's a curse. But then you go and you have a team where you've actually, as a coach, cultured an environment where it's team first, individual second, and you start to pull them out of their head. They start to play better. They start to live better. They start to be better. And this is where and why, when you do the research on CEOs and big corporations, they have these CEOs are all former athletes, right? They're all former athletes and or involved in band or something where you have to work together as a team. And it's not an accident. It's not by accident. That team first mentality creates a great leader. And great leaders do great things. And great leaders who do great things do impact millions of people in this world every day.
I agree. It just, the whole thing, you coach them up. I mean, there's so many things you can do as a coach to make that player that much better. I mean, there's so many times I throw EP to a player and he's missing the ball, and as a coach, you put that ball where that bat's going to be at. So he gets that confidence to hit that ball, and all of a sudden, boom, something clicked in his brain. So more psychology that goes along with coaching, because you look at a kid and you see how he's holding himself. Is he down? What's going on? But the minute you give him a little bit of confidence, it changes it. It changes him in all so many aspects. So there's so much more to coaching than just putting out lineups on the card. I mean, there's so much more. And what we're doing as us three right now, trying out about this community. I mean, there could be a guy out there we don't know where that's getting our videos and our content and goes, now it's making sense, because now I see what I need to do to touch that kid's life, that girl's life, and how can I make her better or him better in so many ways. So I love it. Good job. This is a good discussion today. This is a good one. I like this one.
Yeah, this is something that we're all on this call very passionate about. And I think this is a good time to round it out and just say, sorry this is so short, guys. And maybe you like it better, because Coach Larry and I and Coach Cambell, we like to talk, and we like to talk about this stuff. But more importantly, I hope you realize the passion that comes through these calls every week. And we have these discussions offline all the time, and we just want to make sure that we touch every coach that we can, and that if you come to the pack, understand that's what you're getting. This is what you're getting. You know, what we're saying here is we're not just talking about this. Cambell and I are literally in the dugout this week with adults creating this culture in games, not weeks, not days, in games. And so this is getting me fired up, Coach, because it just tells me this is so right. It's so right. And it's going to impact so many people. And if you're out there, you're watching this and you're seeing this on our TikTok or our Instagram or our YouTube channel or our podcast or in our community, be a part of this community. Join the discussion. What is it that's bothering you? Send those questions in this week and we'll answer them. I promise you, you're not the first one going through this situation. Between Coach and I, we've been coaching 50 plus years. Cambell's been in the dugout since she was in what's that little, a carrier.
Hasn't it?
Right? She was in the dugout in the carrier learning the game. And we want to help, and we can help, and we're in a unique position to help. So if you want to join the pack with the team, if you want to join the pack in our coaching community, if you want to join the pack at home, whatever you want to do, just join the pack, become a part of our family, and grow this movement with us. We love you guys. We're so happy to see you. This is me signing out.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. And like JT said, please come join us. Come join our pack. We love having these calls and teaching and learning from each other. And we'd love to have all of you a part of it as well.
Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.